Greetings everybody, welcome to a first look video at Letter Vetter. That's the name of this game here. And it is it's a strange game, as described by the developer as a combination between an Agatha Christie mystery and kind of a detective fiction, and also a scenery setting similar to Tolkien's The Shire. So here we go. I went in and started and looked at the instructions. The instructions are kind of confusing. But what you do is you look at the letters and you basically decide whether or not they could be somebody that could be potentially corresponding with each other in a disguised form, I suppose, as well, let's just read this out loud, right? So, Junior, welcome to Pipshire. You're here for the best weather of the year. Enjoy your posting while it lasts. Work hard. And we might just flesh something out. As you've been informed, your job is checking mail. Pipshire is one of numerous villages we have reason to believe holds war criminals, agents placed in England who have not broken cover since the war ended. We're uncertain what numbers, if any, reside in villages such as Pipshire to work as though everyone could be suspect. You can pass on the letters without intervention. If you feel an individual's correspondence is not worth checking, you may classify the mail as not worth interception. If there's something you suspect in a letter, you can forward it to me at headquarters. I'm dealing with multiple villages, so my time is precious. Don't waste it. I'll only analyze 2 letters per day for your posting. Make sure you look clearly at both the envelopes and letters before making a decision. I want you to keep focused on the letters in front of you, so ensure you're happy with your decision before moving on to the next letter. Left key, right, yeah. I've left some condensed instructions on your desk. Keep your eyes open. Good luck for Crown Country L. The instructions are kind of confusing. And to be honest, fortunately, if you press backspace, or escape, sorry, you can actually look at what the instructions are. You can reject future correspondence. You can zoom in and out with the return or right click. Forward on a letter with up or middle mouse button. Left click to keep on revealing letters. And that's what this game is. You're a letter vetter. I'm basically checking for spam. Not really spam, actually. More like phishing. Right, so the first letter is Mr. Humbert, Ricket Shack, Trouble's End, Pipshire. And it reads, the violin is ready to pick up. It is playing beautifully, Charles. That I think we can skip. Next. Ken Terrence, 4 Owl Way, Pipshire. And we gotta zoom in. What was the zoom in button? Return. Okay, I just got my hands on the keyboard. Dear Mr. Terrence, the rabbits are up in number this year. They're a right nuisance. Them and the pigeons between them are trouble. Sir Kent doesn't mind so much, but Mr. Pied relies on the crops coming good. When can you be around with your ferrets? Mr. Mick Stewart. Yeah, it doesn't mean much to me. Let's move on. Should be able to look back at all the letters, right? I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to. Let's just go through this day and see what happens. Professor Peterson, New Church College, Abbott Lane, Oxford. Dear Professor Peterson, I did what you asked, and I took out a couple of books on Shelley and Keats. I must admit that you're right when you're saying they're both of their time. But I can't help enjoy them exceedingly well. Perhaps it is because I'm still young and romantic. I especially enjoy Keats. Here's a poem I own in the romantic style. The waning harvest moon draws up the night. The dark sky is cool and charming. The wind in ripened fields. You might notice that this is also inspired by Japanese haiku. I found a book of haiku in the library which captured me. Of course, I can only read the translated versions. Do tell me what you think of my poems, and do be honest. You admire Emily. Seems like a perfectly fine letter as well, sent to a certain professor. So, I didn't send any letters on, I think. And I think you're supposed to get feedback every day. So, or I guess if you send on letters, you get feedback. So you can't go back and look at the letters. I would like to be able to look at all the letters once I'm done reviewing them and be able to decide which ones to send them, but I suppose that's not how this is going to work. Dog owner, the Waggings, Bramble Lane, Pipshire. Well, this could be a bit funky. Dog owner is written as one word. I'm not sure if that was so. Oh, but here's dear dog owner. We all experience the same problems. A messy lawn, a lost dog returned by disgruntled neighbor, muddy paws on a guest's white shirt when your mutt jumps up. Fix it for good. Send your dog to Bet's Dog Training Academy, Bedfordshire, Cradle Dome. Leave your dog with us for 1 week and you'll have a whole different hound. Post requests to P.O. Box 110. Is that supposed to be Faith Road? Falth Road, Bedfordshire? Beth. I don't know. That looks fine to me as well. I'm not a very good letter writer, apparently. Adrian Evans, number 3, The Leavings, Turning. Dear Adrian, I am touching up the Aston. It is beautiful, but it does have its maintenance problems. I wanted some advice. I use terrapin polish on the car, but I think the paint is too high quality. What do you use for your Jag? Gavin. I don't see any problems with any of these letters. That's it for day 2? Oh boy. Well, I mean, some of these photos look nice. There's airplane streaks through the sky, so I don't know which war they're talking about. Gavin Botting, The Spire House, Endings Road, Pipshire. Gavin, I use conch polish for the Jag. It's hard to get, but I think the Forum Automobile Festival has a tent with conch products. Pick some up when we pop up. Isn't it lovely driving around in this weather, in the countryside? Wheat shooting up in the fields, birds coming home to England, the open air through your hair. Adrian. Sounds like a good, fine, and dandy reply. Actually, can I zoom in on the envelope? Oh, I can. I just didn't recognize the stamp there, so I didn't know, but it looks... I don't know. I'm not sure if that's fine or not. Emily Griffith, Thatch Oak Cottage, Pebble Street, Pipshire. We'll move on. Look at the letter. Dear Emily, your poem is charming and certainly shows the influence of Keats and the Japanese haiku tradition. Do you find yourself drawn to nature? Poetry is a great vehicle for expressing one's love of nature. If you enjoy foreign poems, may I recommend some in the Arabic poetry tradition. Masters such as Al-Mutanabi produced a remarkable work. If you can find someone fluent in Arabic, request them to read the original. Try to hear the music in it. I'm sure you'll manage with your ear. As for constructive thoughts about your poem, try not to overdo the imagery. Occasionally, the Romantics were guilty of the same faults, but of course we can improve upon past traditions. It is better to use the tools you're competent with, at least for compositions. In practice, you can experiment as you like. Yours sincerely, Suzanne. Should we send this one on? I don't know. I'll send this one on. I don't know. Probably don't need to do that, but I want to see what the response you get is. Mick Stewart, Nook House, Bramble Lane, Pipshire. Mr. Stewart, how are you doing, Mick? Shame about the vermin. Me and Jess can be round for the scyther's morning. Of course, we can't do anything about those pigeons. I know the rent on fields these days, and no surprise Pierre doesn't like his crops being stolen. Will you be having an afternoon, a whole day with Jess and our nuts? Ken Terrence. Seems like a fine response. I haven't seen anything that looked all that suspicious. Really? These different funky little stamps. Mrs. Frith. Smoky Tavern. Wells Square. Pipshire. Dear Mrs. Frith. Well, some of these texts are kind of hard to read. Maybe it's just a letter paper used in the background there. This month, look out for some wonderful Premier clarets. It's looking to be a wonderful year with lots of aging potential. Speaking of aging, don't forget to stock up on Rieslings. Germany has had a fantastic spring and a wonderful summer so far. The bidding starts soon, so you can guarantee some of the best offerings for the last 30 or more years. The respect for Riesling grape can only go up. Rosé should also be on your shopping list this summer. Some think of it as a fool's drink, but certain rosés have a refined delicacy that suits a summer evening perfectly. We recommend Chateau Claude de Lune for the rosé that suits a discerning palate. For those who cannot make a transition to rosé, any quality wine from the Domaine Fleury guarantees a well-made and drinkable wine with flowers on the nose. Cheers to an English summer. Wine Nattered Monthly. Wine Natter? I'm going to send this one on. It looks suspicious to me. Why? Natter? I don't know if I'm supposed to be scanning for like typos or stuff that don't look like English or what, but I'm really not entirely certain what I'm looking for. But sent out a couple letters, so we should get some kind of a response from L. Maybe? Maybe. Junior, yeah, we got a response. Why are you sending me this? Oh, got our hand slapped. Oh, interesting. So you get two different letters. Now, this one is a little bit more informative. I'm not sure why you sent me this, but do monitor the letters if you feel like something's amiss. Well, I feel like there's some misspellings. That's why I sent it on. One misspelling, I should say. Simon Farrell, Tenzing Altitude Systems, Reading Road, Cranton. Simon, I hope this letter finds you well. Weather balloon has been up and humidity was higher than I thought. It can increase in the evening, which isn't what I expected. Bertrand? I'm not going to send that one. Seems like it's fine. Next. I wish if you accidentally click over and end up with a discard pile of letters, you can still look through them and go back to that. But anyway. Bridget Willoughby, 34 Tanning Street, Terry. Mrs. Willoughby, thank you ever so much for the service on my binoculars. Some kind of a chaffinches and blue tits are more colorful than ever. It feels like I have a new pair of eyes. I'm once again engrossed, adding bird drawings to my sketchbook. I sometimes feel so happy looking through the binoculars. I imitate some of their bird song. I'm getting rather good at it. Wishing you well, Aberline Mackenzie. Seems fine. This is, I suppose, the extent of this game. I want to see what's going to happen. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to end up with. But clearly I'm sending letters on that don't need to be sent on. And Yeah, so far I really haven't seen anything that's too suspicious. Ken Terrence, 4 hour away, Pipshire. Mr. Terrence, I think she'll be needed the whole day. The rabbits have got a old right mansion. Sorry. I think she'll be needed the whole day. The rabbits have got a right old mansion with this warren. Pets aside, the fields and woods are looking lovely. Shouldn't be a bad day. See you on Scythers, Mick. I mean, looks fine to me. Talking about... Yeah, okay. Charles Tidbit, Tipping House, Smithy Street, Pipshire. Just looking at the stamps and stuff. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for. Mr. Charles... Oh, no. My Charles. I do apologize for the belief absence of letters recently. We've had the honor of a surprise visit from Uncle Todd and his new wife on the way back from their southerly trip. It has got me thinking, though it has only been a few months together, I remember every day with fondness. To think we have always lived in nearby villages and only just found each other is astounding to me. Even despite what I have decided to refer as the cooking scandal, has all been a joy, all except one aspect that I cannot share our romance with those I am closest to. I am not and have never been a good liar, and even my uncle has started asking questions. I simply blush and hope the questions go away. But what a joy it would be to be able to reveal you, or us I suppose. This may seem sudden or perhaps premature, but it would make me royally happy if we introduce our family soon. Yours, Anticipation, Veronica. Well, Ms. Charles could be suspicious. I'm sending this letter on. Probably get a letter back that says, why are you sending this to me? Anyway. Bertrand Sorrel, I don't know. 4 Windmill Street, Pipshire. Bertrand, make sure you use the correct statistical techniques for the... Bleh. Make sure you use the correct statistical techniques for the data. We don't want weather predictions to be a pseudoscience. Keep abreast of the light readings, Simon. This is from the alt... This is fine. Right. Hayao Miyazaki. Well, wouldn't it be lovely to get such a letter? 2 to 4... I don't know. Well, anyway. Dear Hayao, I hope this gets to your town. Since the address looks so different and hard to spell, I'm sure I made a mistake. How does it feel being back in Japan? Much more comfortable? Must have been quite something to be in England on the other side of the world with everyone speaking a different language. Even though we couldn't understand each other all the time, I treasured having you as a friend. Our class is very lucky to be the host of you and your small group of classmates. Tell me your news. Do you have holiday now, or is it straight back to school? What sports do you play in Japan? You very much enjoyed cricket, didn't you? I rather find it dull, I must admit, if I so say myself. From all the way from England, sincerely, Amélie. Somebody from England finds cricket dull compared to somebody from Japan. Anime artist. I'm going to send this one on because it's going overseas. But, of course, that's a little Easter egg. I want to know what the response is. I wonder when I'm actually going to see any kind of progress here. And I'm not sure whether this is all that captivating. To be honest, so far it has not been. Let's see what the responses are. First one. Worth another checkup. Okay. Interesting. Might have something. Not very useful, I suppose. That's okay. This is Cecilia Umbert, flat 7B, 12 Oat Lane, Corinne. Dear Cecilia, I'm in the process of setting my affairs and drawing up a will. I thought I would give you the opportunity to state your affection as a daughter to me before I do so. How much you love me and so on. You'll be taken into consideration. Eh? You have always had a special place in my heart, so I hope to hear something memorable from you. This is somebody who is not his daughter. This is kind of weird, isn't it? Or maybe it is his daughter. Who knows? We'll forward this one on just to see what the heck it goes. Where the heck it goes, sorry. Gabriel Brown, 14 Westbriar Road, London. Dear Gabriel, I'm in the process of settling my affairs and drawing up a will. I thought I'd give you the opportunity to state your affection as a... Maybe he is actually setting up his will. Let's not forward the second one along. Professor Peterson, New Church College, Abbott Lane, Oxford. Dear Professor Peterson, in the library poetry section, I found a book of Arabic poetry. There are a wide range of authors in it, but it is a short book overall. I finished it and enjoyed it, but not as much as the Romantics. I must say, if the Romantics were a bit overdone, their poetry or images, these ancient Arabic poets are much more guilty of the same crime. More guilty of the same crime, sorry. I haven't found anyone to read it to me in the original yet. Perhaps next time in town I can find a poetry venue or ask for any Arabic speakers. I understand what you say about my poems. I suppose I should practice it and then do the best I can for composition. I am still enjoying Japanese poetry very much, especially haiku. What do you think of this? It's not a haiku, but inspired by the form. A leaf doesn't try to fall at the time it falls. Any comments are greatly valued. I hold your opinion in very high regard. Yours, Emily. Still talking about poetry. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think I sent it on last time, right? I can't remember, to be honest. Oh, here we go with Mick Stewart. What I don't understand is... I mean, I have no idea how much... I mean, just the stamping is kind of weird, isn't it? Anyway. Noble House, Bramble Lane, Pipshire. Mick, I've told Jess the news. She can't wait. See you then. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think. Next. Rachel Fletcher, The Thatch, Bovemite Road, Tibton. Can't read half of these names and places and such. Dear Rachel, I'm in the process of settling my... Okay. This guy is using a form letter to send to all his daughters, apparently. Eveline Mackenzie, The Stoics Retreats, Crook End Lane, Pipshire. Mr. Mackenzie, it was a pleasure to have such a piece of optical engineering on my desk. Enjoy the sharper focus. Bridget Willoughby. I don't see anything wrong with that. Mr. Fulworth, 5 Crookend Lane, Pipshire. Alright. Dear Mr. Fulworth, it has come to our attention that you may have a garden. May we suggest the use of square left patented weed killer. Don't let other gardens in your neighborhood outshine your own. We look forward to a future where weed killer is routinely used. Where our weed killer is routinely used and the nation over... Wait. Where weed killer is routinely used the nation over. Don't get left behind. I'm forwarding that one along. That's okay. Adrian Evans. Oh, I think that's one of the correspondences I forwarded on last time, but maybe not. No, it's not. It's almost warm enough to boldly drive all around Scotland and its charming Highland roads. Maybe we should go in convoy, or you use a leather I don't know how to say that word, sorry. I assume. We'll just move on. That's fine. It's more letters every day. Mr. Stewart. XIV. That's 14. Conqueror Falls. Pipshire. Dear... That looks suspicious. I can only send 2 letters in one day. How do I go back and take off one of the letters? That's just a flaw of the system. So I can't send this one along. But it looks suspicious, so I'll keep an eye on it. Next time I won't send along anything that's just kind of silly like that. But my unseen translation is improving, but the set text I simply cannot get into my head. We're supposed to study the Iliad section that I showed you, but the task of memorizing it all is so boring to me. Are there any tricks you use? I'll just keep an eye on it. Just because the steward is completely off there. Anyway. Well, I think that's a missed opportunity. But I didn't know whether to do anything about the guy's request for his daughters to all show their love and affection through letters, return letters. To me, the first one sounded weird, and then after that, that's that one. Let's see what the next one is. Don't send things for the sake of it. Alright, maybe I'm being too suspicious. Well, this is the one I said I'd keep an eye on, so... Let's see. Dear Imogen, the only trick of having true passion for the text, ask yourself why you might study it. If you weren't forced to, then you might find yourself studying it despite being forced to. If you cannot think of a reason, then I'm afraid you simply have to force yourself until exam time. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I'll just keep an eye on it, but I won't send anything. Esmeralda Basson, 17 Church Street, Pipshire. I'm supposed to look at the envelopes, but so far I haven't seen anything from the envelopes that would suggest any kind of a strange occurrence or anything. Dear Esmeralda, after our discussion, I'm very excited to work on the garden party. It's great luck that your 40th coincides with the months of your daughter's 18th. Eh? Okay. If we create the prospect of a party as wonderful as you described to me, I'm sure she'll travel back out from London and bring her friends too. Joint parties are all the rage. Not during COVID. As English weather is in any season is not predictable, we'll have to have a marquee if you want it outside. If the weather turns bad, we'll still want people to dance and make merry without them walking all over your carpet and crowding in the kitchen. Could you please list for me your number of wine and other alcoholic drink glasses, number of seats and tables in your possession, number of toilets in your household? We'll start with the basics and go from there. Number if you want to call. Tess. I don't know. Does that number look suspicious? I have no idea. I won't send it, but we'll see if the responses start to get suspicious. And Dr. Barlow, the greenhouse, Alway, Pipshire. Dear Dr. Barlow, I'm pleased to inform you that our specimens of high brown fritillary butterflies have been accepted by the National History Museum. It was in the opinion of the assessors that they are some of the best preserved examples of the species, with their rarity increasing. A careful selection on display at the Natural History Museum may help impress upon the public the value of Britain's native butterflies. They'll be on display in the insect wing by the beginning of next month. Once again, congratulations, Mr. Jones, London Natural History Museum Curator, Cromwell Road, South Kensington, London. fine. Simon Farrell. The altitude systems. Once again. Simon, bad news. A farmer shot down the I couldn't get an answer to why, but he said something about birds. Delays to results. Bertrand. Okay. Okay. So nothing sent along on day 7. I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know. I don't know how many days this is going to be. Is the job to complete once you capture a couple of war criminals or whatever, but I have no idea. It's just kind of going on and on and on. Emily Griffith, Thatch Oak Cottage, Pebble Street, Pipshire. Dear Emily, do call me Suzanne, your letters. We've been pen pals for some time now. Besides, I'm sure you'll be joining the university given your talent. You can call me Professor when you're a student. Yes, the Arabic tradition can be a little overwrought. Do try and find a native speaker. If you find someone to read it, I'm sure you'll hear the remarkable use of sounds and rhythm employed. That is a wonderful poem. It is gentle, has a sense of balance, which the Japanese value a great deal. If you could speak Japanese, perhaps one day you could write haiku in the natural language. I'm afraid I'm very busy today. I wish I could write one. We have George Calgary visiting today, giving you a poetry reading. Suzanne. Okay. So far that discussion has always just been about poetry. Gavin Balding, the Spire House, Endings Road, Pipshire. I don't know if I'm supposed to be keeping track of these addresses, because I feel like every time I read an address is something new. Gavin, genuine leather chamois. Chamois? I don't know. Of course, nothing else good enough for the Jag. She glows after a few rounds with a chamois. Ooh, a few days around the mountains, finish up close to the coast. Oh, nice white wine with fresh Scottish oysters. Why not, Adrian? Alright, I'm just not going to send anything that doesn't look suspicious, right? Leo Umbridge, Spear House, Astral Lane, Corinne. Dear Father, it is a strange request, but an easy one to answer. I love you more than any daughter ever has. Spend every moment thinking how best to honor you, and will continue to think how best to honor your memory after we have lost you. Interesting. Those words are so distressing to write, I can hardly continue. Remember that I married wisely as you advised, and went into the career that you chose for me. I've always been a dutiful daughter, and isn't duty the greatest evidence of love? Your adoring daughter who is always taking your advice, Gabriel. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Are we going to get a bunch of these? Maybe I should start declining. Dear Father, I love you as much as I ought, as I have always shown you. I love you like a good daughter loves a good father. I find it uncomfortable answering this letter, as it is a rather strange thing to take into consideration for a will. I wonder what my sisters must have sent. I love you very much, Father. I hope you understand. I find it beneath both of us to write anything false simply because you're drawing up a will. Love from Cecilia. Maybe it's time for me to start rejecting some of these letters, but I want to see a few more. Veronica Baxter, Carlton House, Westwood Road, Pipshire. I don't know if I can ever find anything wrong with these envelopes, unless there's something really glaring. Dear Veronica, you need not apologize, though I have thoroughly missed your thoughts lately. Reading your letters always plays out my favorite part of the day, and this letter was no exception. I hope your uncle is doing well, and the family reunion was a welcome one. Is he home here for long? Firstly, I disagree strongly. That night was a cooking success, not a scandal, unless you call a missing dog being found by neighbors a scandal. It was, as I think many fathers, I would say rather character building. It was lucky that Johnny came to our aid, I concede, but I remember it with fondness nevertheless. I'm glad you suggested meeting each other's families. My mother is dying to get some details. I imagine she might even pay me for tidbits at this stage. However, I think it'd be help us both make good impressions if we each knew a little bit about the other's family. Perhaps we could inform one another about the various characters of our families, the ins and outs, so to speak. That way we'd be less likely to make a blunder. And thirdly, I do hope you haven't forgotten about the dance this Saturday. I've been practicing and I dare say it's a risk you might be overshadowed entirely. From yours truly, the Terpsichorean. My new dancer title. Okay. Seems like two people dating, writing lovey-dovey letters back and forth. Nothing wrong with that. Here's the third daughter. Dear father, I love you as the moon loves the sun, reflecting his marvelous glory. You taught me from my earliest days and helped me through life's challenges. I love you as the stars love the sky and earth loves loves her orbit. Your eldest daughter, the luckiest for having spent the longest with you, Rachel. Okay. If that keeps on going, I'll start declining those. Harry Klebel, The Licks, Market Road, Sherwall. Harry, well, I'm going to accept your offer from the other night. You never weren't much of an intellectual, so I shall have to put you in your place again. Of course, chess is a rather mundane test of my intellect, but I suppose the monkey can only play a simple game, then one must play a simple game with the monkey. For my first move, I shall play pawn to e4. Do get a chess set out so you can remember the moves. I, of course, can do it in my mind. Good luck. Whenever it comes to chess, it's war strategy, potential conspiracy. We'll send it off just in case. Yeah, send one off. That's fine. I want to see this game have a bit more progression. It's just kind of dull at this point, other than what are these letters saying to you? Well, I can't respond to you, L, other than send the letters along, so I don't know what you want me to tell you. Okay, Henry James, 2 Castle Road, Pipshire. Dear Illusionist, you subscribe to our monthly mailing list. Each month a magic trick's secret revealed. This month is the ring in the box vanish, though in truth any small object placed in the box will vanish. Coins, rings, any small object seems to disappear with a click of the finger. A small object is borrowed from an audience member and showed to be entirely normal. Box with a sliding compartment is shown to be empty. And the small object is placed inside. With the closer of the box and the snap of the finger, the box is opened and shown to be empty. The secret: there are 2 drawers within the box, one hollow inside the other, like Russian dolls. Using the thumb on the edge of the box, the illusionist or magician pushes a mechanism which changes the drawer to a larger one. The borrowed object is left behind in the smaller box, as the new and larger drawer is shown empty. The difference is so fine it cannot be noticed, and the audience is left astounded every time. The magic disappearing box can be bought for only 3 shillings. Just think that after the initial investment, the box can perform a lifetime of marvelous illusions. Get yours now at Gary and Rickard's Magic Cave. Oh boy. Pretty sure I'm going to be declining those real soon. Bethany Bridges, Dawning House, Orchard Close, Pipshire. Holy cow. Handwritten note. Dear Beth, thank you so much for having me at your birthday party. I really enjoyed when your mum and your dad and your sister gave us cake. I am not allowed cake at home, and I will always remember your cake. I hope you like my present. From Leah. That looks adorable, and like that from a child. We'll keep an eye on it, but probably not do anything with it. Bertrand, 4 Windmill Street, Pipshire. Bertrand, the village fool, how would he like a sheep to go missing? Take care with a spare, as we don't have budget for another. Simon. I'm going to send this one along because it's a letter that doesn't make any sense. And to me, it actually sounds like it's a plan for something. Tess Higgs, 23 Cravemore Road, Islington, London. Dear Tess, a marquee sounds good, but it's quite windy out here. Are you sure it would hold? We have 3 toilets in our house with perhaps 10 wine glasses, half red, half white. I'm sorry, I didn't know there was a difference between red and white wine glasses, but there may be another 19 general drinking glasses and 22 pint glasses. My husband has a lot of unimaginative friends who give the same present every year. We have one rather large table, but I am not sure it can be moved very easily outside. We have another quite small garden table which might seat 6 at a stretch, but is meant for 4. We have about 14 chairs in total, but some aren't appropriate for civilized company. I also don't know any caterers anywhere. Let's just move on from this. I should have declined. That's okay. Next time. Did I send on one letter? The one that didn't... Oh, two, right? One is chess, and the other one is something that... Just something about a village idiot. This it didn't really make any sense. I don't know how long I'm going to go with this. No. Okay? I'm starting to piss off the superior. Please take me off of my job real soon. Cecilia. Oh, it's from back and forth again from father-daughter. Dear Cecilia, you love me as a good daughter. Why is it all capitalized? Is this not rather commonplace as an old man nears his end to use such simple terms of affection? Can you not see it might displease me? Perhaps that is not a letter trying to tell more. Oh my goodness. This guy is pissed off. Alright, well, I'll just keep those letters. I'll look at them, but I'm not going to do any with them. Adrian Evans. A few rounds, I mean passes of drying only, or water and drying. Don't forget haggis and reeling. Okay, whatever. Sorry, excuse me one second. Maybe I should drink some water. I've been reading so much. Charles Tidbit, Tipping House, Smithy Street, Pipshire. Charlie, your cheek is going to be your downfall one day, but how exciting. You may have improved enough to be able to follow the dance. I simply cannot wait to have my partner keep up with me this time. Uncle will have been here for a few weeks in total, but is leaving soon, the morning of the dance in fact. I certainly consider it a scandal. If I was one of the guests, it would feel as though I had been cheated. I may not know what clearing it up costs, but that does not make me innocent as to whether it counts as a scandal. Joking aside, I really am so happy you're in agreement. I had to write this letter the instant I read your letter. There's not a moment to waste. I think it best I tell you about my family first. My mother found out about the dance and wishes to join. I'm sorry. You can then ask questions in response, and once we're finished with we can then move on to your family. Does that suit? So, my mother. I think you'll get along splendidly with her. People often say we're quite similar. She goes by Bernie, short for Bernadette, and has taken the Baxter surname of my father. She prefers not to be asked her maiden name. She doesn't cook. Rather stubbornly, she prefers instead to occupy her time gardening, painting, or walking through the local park. She enjoys displaying a display of life there. People, pets, and the wildlife. Honestly, as long as you do not ask too many questions, she's awfully amiable. Just let her do the talking. I cannot wait for the dance running. I don't know. Why is he writing in all caps? Dear Gabriel, indeed, in many cultures, duty is the epitome of love, and time and again you have proven that you hold my opinion close to your heart. Your wisdom accepting my counsel throughout your life and kindness in this letter will not be ignored. You may be certain of a third of my estate in my will. We have 3 daughters. Anyway. Dale Winfrond, Trundant Hall. Let's not try to pronounce that. Dear Dale, how's it all going? How are the social psychology lectures coming along? I hear that the first year is the time people have a bit of fun, but please be careful. Learn as much as possible and have fun, but you must also come home. Your father's missing you. but has awful arthritis in his hands and cannot write. Personally, he sends all his love. George Pleft, 07 Lily Pocket, Pipshire. My old chum George, we both know your chessboard will be out on your desk. You never could remember enough information to pass exams. That's why you only excelled on the sports field. I, on the other hand, excelled in both the sport field and in the classroom. I will respond with pawn to e5. I shall meet you head on, as I always have. It served me well in the past. How's your head of hair gone entirely? You're managing to stick around, Harry. That was the one I sent down, and Elle said no. It was a simple answer. Agatha Crompton, Hilltop, Belt Road, Riversdale. I am starting to get kind of bored. I mean, more than just a little bored. Anyway, dearest Agatha, it has been with delight that I have watched the migrating birds come home. On sunny days, I sit out in my deck chair and listen to all the lovely calls of the different species. My favorite at the moment is the nightingale. How are you enjoying birds of the season? Either there's not a whole lot of letters that actually need to be scanned and parsed out, or I'm just a terrible letter vetter. Alan Boole, Euclid House, Summersdale School, Westboro. Dear Alan, I am a little poorly, and so my parents have held me back from school. I hope I can come later in the term. I will miss our math classes, even if we don't pay much attention. Did you like that book I gave you? I bet you finished it and borrowed several of the same topic. Tell me your news. My parents and sisters aren't very interested in problem solving or puzzles, so if you want to talk maths by letter, it would give me something to do. Yours, Christopher. No problem. Rachel Fletcher, The Thatch. Dear Rachel, I was most charmed by your letter, and I think it is most fitting I should be represented by the sun. I hope your husband will succeed in being a star for you, if perhaps a more distant one than I. I would hate you to be plunged into the dark with my decease. Thankfully, unlike the sun, some of my benefits can continue after your death. You can be certain of a third my estate. Well, this father is clearly biased. That's 10 days. Haven't gotten a single positive yield. Read a lot of letters. Seen a few photos. And that's about it. Third class letter vetter achievement. I don't know. I don't know how long this is going to keep on going. To be honest, I'm kind of bored. Really bored. And I don't think I'm going to continue. It's just kind of wasting time at this point. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't really get this game. And if there are subtle hints I'm missing, I'm sorry. And if there are glaring things I'm missing, I'm even more sorry. But it's just not all that exciting. Just like the job seems like it's probably not very exciting. I don't know. I just don't get it. But I suppose that's fine. Maybe somebody will like it, but just not for me. This is not my kind of game, and I think I'm done, and I'm not going to play it anymore. So, thanks for watching, and let me know what you think if you have a different opinion of this. And, yeah. Bye-bye.